What's up, guys? It's Billy here from Strikes and Subs, and today I will be giving you my full preview on Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 2. In addition to the Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder fight, we have a heavyweight clash that will see Charles Martin take on Gerald Washington in a title eliminator for the IBF heavyweight title. We have a super bantamweight contest with Emmanuel Navarrete taking on Yo Sansamiza in a super bantamweight title fight. And in the junior middleweight division, we have Sebastian Fundora taking on Daniel Lewis. Now moving on with the fight that everyone wants to hear about, Wilder versus Fury. Prior to their first meeting, both men were going on massive runs. Both men were undefeated. Wilder had the longer win streak, and Wilder also had the most knockouts compared to Fury. Wilder had 40 fights, and in those 40 fights, he had 39 knockouts. Tyson Fury, on the other hand, had 27 wins, 19 of those coming via knockout. Deontay Wilder's biggest competition would probably be Luis Ortiz. No one really likes to fight him. He may be a bit old, but he's a real scary bloke with massive knockout power. Tyson Fury, on the other hand, fought Vladimir Klitschko in which was one of his last title fights, and it was massive for him. This was also his last fight before he went AWOL for a few years, but he's since returned and he's bigger and better than ever. For their first fight, Wilder fought pretty much a Wilder fight, if you will. Wilder had no need and no real want to go for rounds. He would just keep swinging and going for the knockouts, which is sort of that Wilder style of fight. Fury, on the other hand, was just moving, dodging, bopping, slipping Wilder's punches, and pretty much just trying to outbox and outscore Wilder, as he knows that he is a better boxer compared to Wilder, skill-based. However, he may not be the bigger puncher. The decision went 115, 111 Wilder, 112, 114 Fury, and 113, 113 a draw. So that was called a split decision draw, which many people weren't really satisfied with. A lot of people had Fury winning the fight. Most people reckon what sort of swayed them was the knockdowns, especially that last knockdown in round 12, which was massive. Personally, I had it in Fury's way, 115, 111. I don't think those knockdowns, although they were big, I do feel that Tyson did enough in all the other rounds to score that victory and to score the titles. What Wilder has done since their first fight, he's fought Dominic Breazeale. He knocked him out in the first round. It was nuts. He then went on to fight Luis Ortiz, another one of his best opponents ever, and one of the scariest heavyweights going around. He knocked him out in the 10th round. Fury, on the other hand, fought Tom Schwarz, who he knocked out in the 2nd round, and then Otto Wallen, who he reached a decision. Out of these 4 fights that both men faced, none really provided that much of a challenge besides the Otto Wallen fight, where Fury got cut in the head a couple of times. What has happened during fight week? Well, prior to the actual week, during the month, both men were very respectful, very courteous of one another, pretty much respecting one another's games and shit-talking a bit on Anthony Joshua's. However, when it got to this week and they held their first major press conference, when they had their face-off, both men were just pushing and shoving. And when it came to the weigh-ins, prior to the weigh-ins actually, NSAC, the Nevada State Athletic Commission, ruled that they could not face off due to it being a dangerous situation for the fighters, the fans, and the media, which is bullshit. But you can see from the Nevada Commission perspective that if somehow Wilder punches Fury, or if Fury punches Wilder, or if someone falls and hits their head and get concussed, they're not going to give him a license to fight. And that's the biggest draw card. Like, this is one of the biggest fights Nevada has seen, especially in boxing, in a long time. And they do not want to lose out on those millions of dollars. Like, imagine all the refunds that people will be asking for if the fight gets cancelled. It would be nuts. At the weigh-ins, Wilder came in at 105 kilos, or 231 pounds, and Tyson Fury came in at 124 kilos, or 273 pounds. In terms of their height, Fury comes in at 6'9" or 2.06 meters. Deontay Wilder, on the other hand, comes in at 6'7" and stands at 2.01 meters. Both of them have that orthodox sort of style, and the titles that are on the line are the WBC, the Ring, and the lineal heavyweight titles of the world. How Wilder wins this fight? As they say in boxing, MMA, etc., no two fights are the same. However, fights can be very, very similar. For Wilder, the way he wins, obviously the knockout. He's got arguably the best hand in the world, in no matter what division. He has got the biggest punch, one of the scariest punches we've ever seen. And the way he's going to win is by landing that knockout, catching Fury, boom, see you later, down for 10. However, I don't think that people are giving him enough credit for what he can do. Is he as good as a fighter as Fury? Probably not. However, he is the world champion. Wilder, I truly believe, would have gone back to his camp afterwards and would have trained hard for this fight, not just for the knockouts, but for endurance, for stability. And he's not going to have this mindset where, yep, I can land a knockout whenever I want. Because as we saw, Wilder hit Fury with that massive punch in the 12th round, and Fury still got up. Wilder was celebrating like it was Christmas. However, Fury got up and Wilder's like, what the fuck is going on? So I truly believe that Wilder's gone to his camp and he's trained with the mentality that I might not be able to box this guy. I might need to outscore him, which is going to be pretty scary if Wilder can outbox Fury and have the ability to knock him out at any time. But as we all know, the main way that Wilder's going to win is going to be via knockout. And predominantly and probably it's going to be towards the later end of the fight. Maybe anywhere from the 9th to the 12th round. Tyson Fury, on the other hand, the way he wins is getting it to a decision. He does not possess knockout power that Wilder does. However, he does possess that power. And he has been saying all fight week, fight month, whatever you want to call it, that he is going to knock out Deontay Wilder and take his titles. And that sort of plants seeds in your head. Could he actually knock out Deontay Wilder? He has knocked out people before. And my answer is, he could, but he probably won't. His best trait, as we saw in the first fight, is just moving around, weaving and ducking all of Wilder's punches, and then just getting in there and jabbing, racking up the points. So the way I see Fury winning is via a decision. My prediction for this fight, it's a really tough one. I've been saying to my friends all week when they ask me, hey Billy, who do you think's going to win the fight? I say, my head says Wilder, but my heart says Fury. If it's going to win, and if I was a betting man, I'd say either Wilder wins by KO or TKO, or Fury gets it to a point decision. I'm probably going to go with Tyson Fury here by decision. I just feel that Wilder's already, his number one skill trait is that knockout. And we've seen that Fury can get up from that knockout power. Fury, on the other hand, his best trait's all the ducking and weaving. And we haven't really seen much that Wilder can outbox him at this point. So that's why I truly believe that Tyson Fury will win, not via knockout, but via decision. If Wilder wins this fight and Tyson Fury loses, what happens after this fight? Now, there's calls from Anthony Joshua's camp to fight Tyson Fury if he wins. However, it's not going to happen. The money is just way too big for a trilogy fight, and there's already an indented clause into the contract which gives Wilder that rematch if he wants it. And Wilder's going to want it, not just to claim his titles back, but for the money. The money is nuts. In the last fight alone, Deontay Wilder made $4 million. And he's going to make a lot more in this fight. It is interesting because then you have Joshua, who is one of the other title contenders in the world. You've got Andy Ruiz, who's now up there. You've got Joseph Parker, who's also up there, and he's a bit of a challenger. You've got Alexander Povetkin, who's providing more challenges as well. So the heavyweight division is probably one of the best it's been in a long time, especially during that period with the Klitschko's where it was a bit boring, but they were dominating in all fairness. Thanks guys for watching. I'll be back later with my results and review, and I will be watching this fight with eagle eyes, hoping, not necessarily hoping, but thinking that Tyson Fury can win, but also being very aware that Deontay Wilder can land that knockout punch any round, anytime, anyway, how.